Hello, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. We will be starting the meeting soon. Hello. So let's start the meeting. Just so hello everyone. Welcome to this event. Uh, here, and thank you for joining us in a Sunday evening. Today we have with us Mr. Vijit Mishra, who is also a senior engineer at Luxoft software company. So hello, sir.
Yeah, hi. Hi everyone. Uh, yeah, as as he said, like it's a Sunday evening, right? And we are having a webinar, but it will be very helpful. Obviously, we won't be discussing any JavaScript, any concept of React or anything. We'll be mostly going through like what happens when you like uh, what happens when you get placed, right? So, and how what things are important for you to land placement, and what happens exactly in the business, right? So yeah, so that is the agenda, and apart from that we will also discuss open source development, right? So how can open source development help you in getting better jobs and even improve your portfolios, right? So I think so we can start, right? I hope everyone has joined.
Yes, sir. We can start. We
Okay,
can start the meeting there. 40. Sure, sir.
okay. Okay, so these are the two agendas. So first thing is, yeah. So I I'll share my screen first. Yeah.
Sure.
So this is our agenda for today. So trust me, I haven't created any PPT or anything. I have just created this opening slide. That's it. I'm not in I don't want to bore you with PPTs and all, right? Main thing is I want to give you some knowledge which I didn't have initially when I was a fresher, and which might help you in your careers also, right? And so yeah, so agenda for today, as we discussed, it's web development in business and open source development. So first thing we will see what is about the web development, right? So first thing I want to know from all of you, like who all are I think everyone here has done some web development, right? Like maybe JavaScript, maybe some backend. Like maybe you can, yeah, you can reply me in the chat. So I hope everyone has, yeah. Okay, Dheeraj, you haven't done, no problem. Okay, so you guys are starting. So okay, so some people are starting, some people are have done that. Some of you might have done front end, right? Some of you might have done Java, and I think DS algo is common. I hope, right? So DS algo is common, right? And yeah, so great. So I think most of you have done it. I think maybe front end, maybe back end, some sort of web development, right? And some of you who are new, who are new to this domain. So I'll be telling from the scratch, right? What things you need to learn, right? How business. So first thing I want to tell you guys, right? So every one of you are going will be going for placements, or are going for are applying for the companies and all, right? So what companies expect, that is the main thing which I want to tell. And as an interviewer also, I will help you in some sorts of information, which can help you in interviews also, right? So, and before that I forgot, so I to give my introduction properly. So my name is Vijit Mishra. I'm a senior software engineer at Luxoft, Malaysia. Previously I was working in Airtel. uh, so I hope everyone knows about Airtel in India. And so I have a total of around 8 years of experience now. So I've worked on mostly all the technologies like front end, back end, React, Angular, mostly Mern stack. The most experiences in Mern stack. Apart from that, I've worked on machine learning also, uh, like creating models and recognition models and all. So that is a brief intro about myself, right? So first thing is, why go for web development, right? Why go for web development? one reason is obvious, like it is high paying, right? So money is important. I agree, money is important. But what is the other reason? Like do like in these days, like I think many people are going for machine learning, AI, right? So why will web development be replaced by AI? So I hope everyone has heard about Chat GPT, right? Everyone has heard about Chat GPT. I hope. Yes, right? So Chat GPT is an AI software through which we can like whatever you give to the model of Chat GPT, it will generate code for you also, right? It can generate conversation, it can generate anything actually, right? So some of the people were asking me like, is web development ending, or is because now Chat GPT is here, and like is web development going to be over in another 5 years and all, or maybe another 3 years? Uh, Actually, it can't end, because web development is simply not building website, just just writing website and just meant like creating the backend. It's not only about that. Few things which are important, which can't be replaced by AI, which only humans can do, like solving issues. One important thing, right? Solving issues uh, which are customizable, right? So AI is fine if it is a general thing, right? If there is a title change or something, that AI can do easily. But if you go like if you talk about some production issue, some issue which is happening to maybe some 10 customers only, not the entire customers, something like this, so those things can't be handled by AI currently. So still web development is a very hot field, at least till next 20 years, right? Maybe after that something else will come, but yeah. So yeah, so that's why I think it is a very good field, and plus it is very interesting, and you have many things to do. If you're bored of, let's say you're a backend developer, right? If you're bored of backend, you can jump to front end. And now like previously, like if I talk about 5 6 years back, people were not able to do this because there were two languages they have to learn, right? One is Spring Java, right? Spring Java. Spring is still used in many companies. Spring Java they have to learn. And second is they have to learn jQuery, or maybe HTML, JavaScript, or maybe Angular and React, which was in initial phases, right? So two separate language was very heavy for people. But now, like we can see, we have merge stack, right? So we can learn JavaScript, and we can do whole front end and back end, right? We don't have to go for two languages. So that is one important thing. So if you guys are learning Java, it's fine. If you're learning backend in Java, that is also fine. But what I would recommend is make your portfolio strong in JavaScript, so that you can later on work in any like front end or back end, whatever you like. Okay. So let me so yeah, so let's come to like the business, the people will who will hire you, right? So like us, like I go for hiring, I take interviews, and I've seen a lot of things which happen. So for freshers, right? I hope everyone is a fresher or a college student, right? So for fresher and college student, first thing is obviously, if I exclude DS algo, the DS algo is important, obviously. But even if you are not good at DS algo, right? I've seen a lot of people who are not very good at DS algo. Even if they're trying, sometimes they are not able to build that level of logic, right? That happens. Even when I was a fresher, my DS algo was also average. Like I can't, I like so I was from electronics background. I was from electronics and communication engineering. My computer folks were very smart. Like they used to do it like this, like any knapsack problem, any problems very easily. And I had to struggle like the problems. So one thing which can help you, even if your DS algo is average, is if you start open source development, all these, like build your portfolio, right? Because when you go for a real when you go into industry, right? When you work in the industry, actually there is no high level DS algo used. I think some of you might know that. So I'm working for 8 years. I still haven't used any dynamic programming code till now, or maybe like some graph data structure, right? Or maybe even tree also. So I haven't used tree and graph data structure till now. Obviously, arrays and strings are common, but so if the interviewer is why interviewers judge freshers and college people on DS algo? Because they don't have anything to showcase. How will they interview the fresher and graduate? They only one thing they can showcase is DS algo. But now I've seen that people have started building portfolios, people have started building contributing to open source and all. So now we will see what uh, what things are important, right? What l- what things you should learn. So what things you should learn, what before you go for interview. You don't have to learn it completely. So I'll show you. So let me open. Yeah. So if I talk about front end development, right? If I talk about front end development, uh, what business expects, if you are fresher or 1 year experience, right? They expect you to obviously have a language which is JavaScript, let's assume, right? And a framework based on that language, which can be React or Angular. Both are fine, but think that React jobs are more because React is more popular now, right? Even Angular is good, so you can do anything. And now comes these things, I think already of everyone knows, right? Now I'll tell you the things which you should know. You should not study them like 1 week or anything. You don't have to go in depth, but you should know these things. You should at least create a basic project out of these things, so that, and you can write it in your resumes, so that that business. So if I am a business, right? If I come to a college, I pick people. If a person tells me that I have worked on Jenkins, I have used Jira to and worked on story agile processes, right? Even if he has worked very little, I will still hire him. I'll still say, okay, come, because I don't have to teach him all that a lot, right? So one problem which business faces, which like even my team faces in my company, is the KT is giving KT to freshers. It's a very big road. Like it takes almost 6 months, 5 months sometimes to get fresher on board into real projects, which is very slow, right? Like because let's say we hired 100 freshers, right? For 2023, and now all those 100 freshers are cannot do anything for 3-4 months because they are not trained enough and according to the tools and all, right? And we can't just put freshers into industry level code, right? It will it will be bad. Like if something bad happens, it will be impacted to all the customers, correct? So this is a very big hurdle. And so if you guys are able to learn these things, i I guarantee like that it will be very impressive, and it will be very useful for you. Obviously, I agree, JavaScript, React, all of this you have to learn. That is a very important. After you have done this, right? After you have done this, if you're going for a front end developer, right? After you have done this, don't go immediately for back end development. So I have one more thing I have seen, that students are doing full stack at the start. Students are learning full stack at the start. I don't recommend people doing full stack when they are a fresher. I recommend them to go for one stack, either back end, either front end, make it strong, and then learn the tools about it. Full stack will come automatically in few years, right? So full stack will automatically come in few years. If you're an expert in one stack, right? I think nobody can stop you. So let's come to the tools and the things which are important, which you guys should know. So front-end framework, JavaScript is common. Obviously, GitHub or Bitbucket. So there is a 1 hour video. I think I'll share you with you guys on. I think it's on YouTube only. So it's a very good video. It contains advanced Git also. So you guys should know this. You guys should make a note out of it, or maybe create a cheat sheet kind of thing, so that you can revise just before the interviews. Uh, because when in interviews, although people don't ask GitHub queries or anything, but if you know about this, right? You can answer some tricky questions which might be asked in certain companies, and that will help you, like it will grade you higher than other students, right? So one is GitHub, second is Jira, right? So these are you will never use it in your open source development. This will be used when you are working as an industry professional. Okay, so these two specifically, Jira and Confluence. So I think some of you might have heard Jira and Confluence. So Jira, how can you use Jira? Jira is actually used by uh, business owners or product analysts to analyze the, like to analyze the features, whatever the features are there, and yeah, so whatever features are there, and they make they make stories out of it. So if I open Jira, right? If I open Jira, so it's created by Atlassian. So if you see, uh, so if I go to the, let me, so I won't have I don't have any repository here, right? So, but yeah, this is used, this is used a lot in every company for tagging features to developers. Okay, so okay, let me show you. Let me show you how the story looks like. Okay, instead of login in. Okay, so yeah, so if you see something like this, uh, yeah. So if you see, this is a Jira UI in which the business owners or the business analyst or product owners, they add stories for developers. What are stories? Stories are like a small feature which is developed, which is used to track what is being developed, how is the progress, how is it all happening, right? Across the, so let's say, actually there is a concept of sprint in every ecosystem, in every business. So we call it sprint. It comes under something called agile framework. I won't explain you agile framework. It will be too much for you guys. So just think of it like, what is a sprint? Sprint is like just a, so sprint can be of number of days. So let's say one sprint equals to 2 weeks. So now you are given this feature, add multi-level navigation to homepage. Now what happens exactly in business? A business owner will get this feature from some business. Let's say, okay, I'm working in Malaysia, right? So let's say I have a business in, let's say, Thailand or maybe Indonesia, right? So now what will happen? That business owner's job is to get business out of those countries. Okay. So once he gets the business, let's say Indonesia people also wants your website to work in their region and also want some exclusive feature for their website, right? So now this is business which comes to you, your business owner. Now that business owner will plan everything out and he will create features. For example, this is one feature, add multi-level navigation to homepage. So this is one feature which he created. Now this feature will be tagged to the, so it is assigned to this girl Julia someone, right? Julia Helena, right? So this is assigned. So this might be you or me or anyone from your team, and you will be given a timeline based on the sprint. Like for example, if according to the team and developers, it will take around three working days, 3 days to complete this feature. Okay, so now it will be assigned a value of 3 story points. So this is how this whole thing works. I'm explaining you high level. You will get to learn this more, but I would recommend you guys to just learn this feature, put it in your resume so that it will be easier. Because you see, right, learning Jira also requires at least 2 3 weeks when you go into industry. So it's better if you just put one day of your time, learn basics of Jira, how it works, how we filter things and all, and just write it in your resume. Okay. So in that way, you can, like, if I am coming to your company, if you say I have also used Jira and I have worked on stories, I have worked on story points, it will be +1 for me. So we have a proper list. There is a list, right? So for freshers usually the list is less, right? For example, DS algo, some development skills, maybe some knowledge on other tech, like interest basically. If he's interested to learn other technologies also. So these are basic things. But if you know these things, these are add-ons, like it will improve. So first is Jira, right? So I wanted to show you this, right? The second important tool is Confluence. So Confluence is very basic, right? You don't have to learn Confluence anything. It's just you can call it an online uh, like content management system. So it's a online like it's a workspace which is shared across whole company, like across the whole industry, and it is managed by. So what we do in Confluence, we create documents. Let's say uh, if I'm leaving the company, right? If I'm switching my job, I'm moving to next company. So whatever I learned in 1 year, I can give KT to the new person, right? That is one way. But the better way is create a document on Confluence, upload it, so that later on, if a new guy comes, right, he can easily understand based on that document. So Confluence is a company level sharing. For every company there will be one Confluence link provided, and they can add any document they want, which which should be approved obviously, and they can share information across the company, right? So these things, although Confluence, it is not, it is very less to learn. You can learn Confluence in maybe 1 hour max. But yes, why I'm mentioning this, because again, for business, these things are important. Even if it is 1 hour, they will think it is more than it will require KT and all, right? So this is the second tool. And yeah, and one more tool, very important tool, which I feel you guys should know a little bit about, is Jenkins. Who has heard about Jenkins? Has anyone heard about Jenkins? Oh, great. Anybody else has heard about Jenkins? Yeah, I know Jenkins is new. So maybe you have heard about Jira, but you might not have heard about Jenkins. So Jenkins is one of the most important tool which we use, apart from obviously coding and all, right? It is one of the most important tool used in any uh, big organization, right? So okay, I'll show you what is Jenkins, right? So if you go to Jenkins, right? So Jenkins it is a leading open source automation server which provides hundred of plugins to support building, deploying, and automating any project. So why Jenkins is so popular in every company? Because it can create one click deployment, one click automation in projects, one click building, one click. You can do like you can create a automation server which can do everything for you in only one click. Okay, so I will explain you what I meant by that. So what we do is, okay, I'll tell you guys the flow, right? So let me go back to Meet. Okay, so actually, what is the flow of a whole uh, development, right? How the whole development works, web development complete. So what happens is, for this is what will happen in every business company you work, right? So what will happen? Uh, Wait, okay. So yeah. So what will happen is, first thing is you will be given a feature. So first is business. Business comes. So I sorry guys for my bad writing. I just wait. Let me yeah. So just I will keywords. Okay, I will give keywords. Okay. So there's business. Okay, business. Okay. So I don't have my trackpad today, so It's very difficult to write with just the mouse, right? So this is the business. So first thing is you have to get the business. So that is not your job. So let's get out of it. That will be done by product owner, whatever, like whoever does that, right? So product team does that. So once product team gets the business, right, gets the business, now we come to the Jira phase, the Jira, which I explained you earlier. So we do Jira, we create Jira stories. Let's say we are creating a whole new feature which contains 10 15 things. So 10 15 stories will be created. It will be assigned to group of teams, and the team will start working uh, as soon as everything is final, right? So this is the phase, right? So it is called analyzing phase, right? Analyzing phase. Okay. So analyzing phase doesn't end here. After Jira, the analyzing phase also involves understanding all the complexity. Understanding complexity. Okay, I'm writing UC. Okay, understanding complexity. What are the complexity? Like for front end, it will be like this is a should it be a common feature? Will this feature impact other code bases? Maybe, right? Or is this feature even possible in the current technology? Maybe they are asking to create a AR visual something, right? Something very vague, like which you don't do, your company doesn't do, right? So all these things are decided. And after and for the backend complexity, which microservice to be used, right? Is there a database created for this particular service? All of these things. So this is called understanding complexity. So it usually happens for a week, right? After 1 week it is final which stories are to be picked up. Now comes the real development phase, right? So this development phase comes. Okay. So in the development phase, obviously you will start coding in React or in Node.js, Java, whatever. You will build feature, and I'm assuming it will let's say first feature is finished in 2 weeks. Okay. Okay, after 2 weeks, the first feature is finished. Now, the next, so development phase, this is code. Okay, after 2 weeks, this feature is finished. Now comes the important phase. Development is nothing without the next phases, right? Now comes the phase of testing, right? So your code is done. Now, you must be thinking that the testing is done by testers, right? There is a testing team, right? Actually, that is true. There is a If you go into an MNC, right? If you are in a small startup, you have to do everything, right? But if you are an MNC or a big company, there is a proper testing team, like who tests all the who test your code based on the test cases created by them. So meanwhile, while you are creating code, right, the testing team is creating the test cases. So this is how it works. So actually both testing team and developers sit in the analysis phase and analyze the stories, and based on the feature they create testing case and you create the code. This is how it works. Now you people usually think that testing team is doing the testing, but actually it's wrong. Actually there is one phase called, it's called DIT. Okay, these terms are very important, guys. If you think that these are these terms you will hear a lot when you go into the industry. So DIT is development integration testing, right? So DIT is a phase in which we have to do the testing. We can't do testing like a tester. We have to do testing just based on uh, unit test cases. So now comes an important part, which is unit test cases, unit testing. Okay. So actually I've written it down in the web development for business uh, note, right? Unit testing, uh, although for fresher it will be asked a little less, but if you go for Amazon or some big company, right, in their front end round they ask you to create a unit test case, because unit test case is very important. Like for experienced developer it is very important, very important, even for fresher also. So because you have to create unit test cases for the code you have written, if and that those unit test cases should pass. Those unit test cases should be successful. Otherwise, your code can't go into production live. It can't go live. So these unit test cases are written based on your whatever code you have written. Like let's say you've written a function in JavaScript, right? So that function has one if else. So that unit test, there will be two unit test case, right? One, what if we pass, let's say if age is greater than 30, do something, else do something. Okay. Uh, eh, uh, let's say if age is greater than 30, console.log uh, old, else console.log young. Basic function, right? For this also, you have to write a unit test case. What will be the unit test case? Maybe creating a test case like passing 35 as the age, right? And then passing 20 as the age, and then passing 0 as the age, passing negative as the age. All these should be satisfied for your function, right? So in our case, for negative also, it will say younger, which is wrong. So there should be one more else case, right? For negative numbers, it should not be, it should print invalid number, invalid age, something like this, right? But we missed that in our code. So test cases helps us to figure out these things. Okay. So then comes the unit test cases. It is done in DIT phase. And now the developer task is almost done, right? Now, now comes the real use of Jenkins, right? So Jenkins, what is Jenkins? So I'll show you. Let me show you Jenkins pipeline. Jenkins is basically a pipeline. So basically, what happens is, yeah. So yeah. So what happens is, when you create a React project, right? What steps you follow? npm First npm I, then npm or npx create React app, right? Then you do npm run build, sorry, npm install, right? Then you do npm run build to create that package, and then you deploy it somewhere. That is the whole flow of a flow, like of a basic web app, right? So you first create an app, install the packages, do an npm build, take that build and deploy it to some place, right? So now what happened, before Jenkins, people used to do it manually, right? Now what you can do inside Jenkins, you can create a configuration. So Jenkins, what Jenkins will do, Jenkins will assign you with servers, with servers. Those servers you can use to do all these things. That server will you can that server will already contain React. It will already contain Node. Everything will be there on the server, right? You have to configure it in the Jenkins manage. That is a separate thing. But yeah, that server will be provided with all the things necessary, like React and uh, basically Node, right? Now what you can do, you can write a script inside Jenkins. So I'll show you Jenkins pipeline. So it is something like this. Yeah, I hope everyone can see this. Okay. So yeah, so you can see many steps are happening here, like build, test functional, test security, approval, deploy, right? So all these, so build is the step we were discussing earlier, right? Build like npm build and all. You can put it in Jenkins, right? For test also you can put test cases inside Jenkins. Okay, like some basic test cases. Obviously, you can't put. Uh, you can connect your test cases from your repository, GitHub repository, to Jenkins. Unless all the test cases are not passed, Jenkins will not allow the code to go further. These things are done by Jenkins. Then maybe security, there is some security feature. For example, there is some scanning to be done. Let's say your website is vulnerable to some attacks like XSS attack or some foreign attacks like man in the middle attacks. There are many SQL injection. I hope this is you have heard. So there can be many vulnerabilities, attacks which can happen. So for that, we can configure some scanning tool in Jenkins. So Jenkins will scan that code. If it finds any vulnerability, it will not pass it. So see, if you see the third one is red. See, failed. You can see first two are green. The 17, if you can see on the left side, 15, 16, 17. These are the build numbers. So 15 is a build, and you can see it is red. It failed on the security. So basically, some issue was there and it failed. So this ensures that Jenkins will ensure that wrong thing doesn't go into production. Basically, Jenkins is a provides us with all the configuration. You can configure everything, even testing, building, deployment, everything you can configure in Jenkins. And now only thing is you have to do one click, deploy or something, and this whole process will run in one click. Only setup you have to do initially. Once the setup is done, you will do that click and every step will start executing. If everything is perfect, it will go to the deploy state. In the deploy, it will deploy to the whatever cloud you have, if you have AWS or whatever you have configured. So why is this good? Even a non-developer can do this. Even a non-developer can deploy your code, right? Otherwise, what used to happen earlier, that if you have to go for a deployment, let's say I'm on leave, I'm on holidays, right? And there is one more developer who is junior, who doesn't know how to deploy these things. Only I know. Then imagine, like, the whole team, whole company, like used to will be stuck for one developer, right? Which is wrong. So if I have created this pipeline, if I have created this pipeline and I'm on leave, right? Even a tester, even a business analyst, anyone can just trigger it if they know which is the pipeline for this production. That basic information everyone knows in their team, right? So Jenkins is like amazing tool. Like, it creates one click automation pipelines like this. So this is a pipeline, right? Build, approve, and all. So yeah. So any doubts? Any doubts you guys have? Anything you want to ask me? Okay. Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah. Yeah, hello. Who is this?
Yeah,
Uh, yeah.
it's
Uditya.
me, Aditya. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Will you please tell me how is the unit testing
Your voice broke, Uditya.
I'm saying, will you please tell me how is the unit testing process is done?
The
What is the
unit test.
different part?
Actually, there is a. Can you explain how Jira helps fresher once more? Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Sure. Bhakta. So unit testing basically. So you have to, like, you have. So there are two types of testing. Actually, it's unit testing and integration testing. So actually, it's a proper like it's a proper course actually, right, for unit testing. So, but you guys can do some tutorials basically online. Don't have to go in depth. So for example, I just told you, right, for a function, right, if you have to write unit test cases, right? So I gave you an example, that age one, right? If age is less than 30, age is greater than 30, so you have to write test cases based on that function. So what will help you in that? A library called Jest for front end, right? For if you are using React, right, you can use Jest as the framework. So Jest, if you install Jest, right? So if you install Jest, it will help you create test cases. Obviously, you have to apply some logic to those. So you have to basically mock different. Uh, you have to mock different requests. For example, that function, I let's say function print age. Okay, if age is greater than 30, print this. If age is less than 30, print this. Now you create it, that just will create you some skeleton test cases, right? Now in that test cases, you have to think what all scenarios can happen. So some basic scenarios are, for every test cases, are zero. Zero is one of the common scenario. So these things you will learn once you start writing test cases. Like many things are common for writing test cases, like zero, negative numbers, for strings, maybe empty string, right? So these are some negative test cases. Based on the logic, you have to think what test case to write. So what I would recommend you guys to learn Jest. It will, so these things whatever I'm telling you, right, these are not like React or Node.js or anything backend. These are just one or two hour thing. So why not add it in your portfolio, add it in your basket, right? Because it will help you. I told you, right, if you are not good, like not very good at DS algo, these things will help you even get better jobs than those who are good at DS algo, because development is
Oh,
completely different. Yeah. So obviously I can't explain you whole Jest, right? But I would
mm,
recommend you to go through it. There are very good YouTube videos, right? One YouTuber, I think by the name, yeah, Web Dev Simplified is there, who has maybe on Jest also, or maybe Code Monk. So all these are some good videos are there. You can watch out. Even I can help you. You can, yeah. So if you guys like, I will share you guys my LinkedIn profile, right? You guys can connect me over there. If you have anything specific you want to ask, or even related to job perspective, right? You can reach out to me, and maybe you can ask these questions. I can help you. Maybe if you want some resources, I usually share many resources on my LinkedIn also. So maybe it will be helpful for you guys, right? So I've shared it in the chat. You guys can uh, send me a request, and I'll accept. So so yeah. So yes, Bhakta was asking Jira, right? So Jira,
thank you, sir.
Bhakta, yeah, no problem with it. So Bhakta, Jira is mostly, right, to create user stories, which are the requirements written from the end user perspective. So if you see this example, right, I gave you this example. So this is a requirement given by business to the uh, to our team. Okay, so business gave this requirement: add multi-level navigation to homepage. Okay, so now for every requirement we create, right, we get paid, right? Actually, that is how business works, right? Whatever we build, that that is a business for the company, right? So Jira is used to link the requirement from business to the developers, basically. So it is a common platform where business and developers can come and see how things are going. What things the developer has to do, they will get to know from Jira, and what business can track how the developers are doing, what things are done, what features have been delivered, all this. So all these things are done on Jira, and Jira helps you to track also. Like if the let's say if a task was to be done in 3 days or 5 days, right? 5 working days, but it extended to 7 working days. So in the comments, you can write why it delayed. Maybe because some API, some requirement was not clear. Maybe some, or there was some difficult complexity which came later on, right? So it help. Now why we write in comment? So that later on business, when business comes and see, oh, this is the issue, they will know. It will be transparent. Otherwise, business developers are like hard workers, right? For them, they think that these things should be done in 2 days, 1 days, right? But they don't know the complexity which developers have, right? So these Jira helps us to them to clear that, right? So yeah, so yeah, so now after DIT, right? On last two phases are there, right? So DIT is when you do unit testing after coding, right? And once you confirm from DIT, still our testing is not done, because uh, there is a fun fact, right? You can't rely on developers for you can't say if a developer can deliver 100% production free code. It's not possible for a developer to deliver 100% production free code. It's actually impossible, right? So even developers has done the testing. The next step is SIT. And trust me, you will listen, you will hear these words a lot. SIT, DIT, UAT. SIT is I think SIT is called SIT development, system integration testing, I think, right? Uh, yeah, system integration testing, right? So SIT is system integration testing. So this is done by the testing team. So they create whatever test case they have created. They are expert in test cases, right? They are the tester. They are hired for this. We as a developer might be creating basic test cases for unit testing, but they have created very advanced test cases, even manual test case, automated test case, whatever. Now our app will run through all these test cases. Okay. Once our app passes this, if there is an error, there is a bug, SIT team assigns back to the developer so that developer can work on it again. And then developer assigns it back to SIT team once the bug is fixed. Okay. And this is how it works. So it rotates many times unless all the bugs are fixed. Once everything is passed from SIT, it goes to the UAT, which is user acceptance testing. So it is the one of the final phase of our whole life cycle. So in user acceptance testing, some real users, like maybe 10, 15 real customers, maybe some agents, maybe companies under the company, only the real customers who are using the app, it will be given to them for testing. So they have to give feedback based on this UAT. So again, this UAT is managed by UAT team. So UAT team has to connect with customers and ask for the feedback. Once UAT is passed, it goes for the production, right? So this is a whole phase. Okay. Actually, there are few more steps, but that will be too much for. So, but yeah, this is a high level overview of this, of whatever is happening in the whole software, any software actually. This thing will happen in any software, even machine learning, AI also. Few things won't be there, like maybe actually all of the things will be there. Only coding will be different, right? Only coding will be different. So this is called software development lifecycle, and especially for our web development. Okay, everybody like understood? Any questions in this? Anything you can ask? Suraj, wait. As writing codes for web dev are easy using platform like ChatGPT, what do you think will be better approach towards learning uh, web dev that will be beneficial for us that can't be automated by using. So I told you, right? Actually, you have to grow with technology. That is the main thing. So for now, React is going nowhere for the next 10 years, right? So it is going nowhere. Obviously, it might be upgraded, it might be improved, but it will be there. Maybe some other technology will come, like Vue.js has come now, which is very good also. But still, it is not able to replace the current technologies, right? Even ChatGPT has come. Still, people are not accepting it, right? Because it can create website. So if you go on ChatGPT, you type create a weather app, it will create a weather app. But f- a lot of things you can't customize. A lot of things you can't customize in on ChatGPT. Like if you want a business logic, specific. Let's say I'm in Malaysia, right? In Malaysia, we use something called Do It Now. Do It Now is like apna Bharat, like QR, Paytm QR, right? In India, or Bharat Pay or anything, right? So here the functionalities Do It Now is very different. So if ChatGPT is not, like, even if it is trained on it, right, it won't be able to develop feature according to it. I've used it. I've used ChatGPT. I was using it for test cases, mostly writing test cases. But those test cases were also not accurate. Like I had to write a lot. But yeah, you can a, a, a smart development. What a smart development would be, use chat. You can use chat GPT and these AI tools to create your skeleton structure and all. Like to ask for these things which you already know and you don't want to write, right? So those things you can do. But tension not, guys. Trust me, I know this. I'm working here in the industry, so I know. And I've heard from the businesses also, right? They they don't. First thing is they don't trust it. The few people who trust it, they have seen it that it is performing well, it is amazing, but it can't replace the developers. Developers will always be there. One thing that might happen after the 5 years, if ChatGPT is upgraded so much that maybe they will integrate ChatGPT. Still, developers will be required. Still, developer will be required. But the ChatGPT integration will reduce the amount of work that can happen. So let's say I'm writing even a title, right? There is even title I have to create a header, also creating footer, something nav bar or something. Those things maybe ChatGPT can create. We have to only think of logic. Developers' work will mostly be logic, right? So yes, yes, Sonal. So uh, what I would recommend you guys, create an account on Jenkins, right? Try to maybe share you guys. Maybe I'll share these guys, the Codex guys, the video for Jenkins, a good video. It will be maximum 1 hour or something.
Sure, sir,
Uh,
no problem.
yeah, yeah. So maybe you can share with all of them, right? Or maybe I can share
Sure,
on
sir.
LinkedIn. Share on
Sure, sir, no
LinkedIn as a
problem.
post. Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, you can use that, and you can learn Jenkins, create a pipeline, right? And see the magic yourself, right? Uh, just try to explore it. uh, Build and deploy a build and deploy a React app using Jenkins, right? So deploy it on Vercel or Firebase, anywhere. It is fine. Only thing is, do every configuration in Jenkins. So let's say you're deploying on Firebase. How do you deploy on Firebase? Everyone knows about Firebase. Sorry, I jumped to Firebase directly. So Firebase is nothing.
Yes, sir.
It's a place where we deploy our app, like front end apps mostly. Even backend Node.js is also supported now, I think. So mostly we deploy our front end apps once, and we can host it, basically to host the app, right? So that is Firebase used for. So yes, so Fire you can, so build, deployment, testing, uh, security, all these four things you can configure in Jenkins pipeline, and you can see that it is so amazing. Once you do it, you don't have to do it again. You just go click on that, it will do everything. Just go away, have a sip of water, come back, and you will see your code is live, finished. So, and for small projects, obviously Jenkins, you might not, you will never use Jenkins in your home, actually, because it is not used for small projects. Mostly it is for bigger projects where there are lots of teams and all. But you should, yes, it will help you on resume. Trust me, I take interviews. I take a lot of interviews. I come there if I am taking interview of, let's say, Sonal, or let's say Ankit or someone, right? And if he somehow, if I see Jenkins in the resume, I'll definitely ask one question. Okay, have you worked on it? If you tell me the answer and all that, it's a plus one point from our side, right? Even if you have done one question wrong in DS algo, or let's say some other question, right? I'll still uh, take you, right? Because I don't have to teach you that. You have already worked on it. You just need a little guidance. It is better for me. Like, here the people who are interview, right? They are selfish. They they don't. I don't want 10 freshers, and I don't want 10 freshers and to teach them for 1 or 2 months, right? It will be very hectic for me only, right? So I would recommend a person who has worked on Jenkins and all these things which are used in real business, right? Or I will prefer a person who is very good at coding. I agree, right? Or who is, like, who is good at coding and everything, but he doesn't know anything else. Like he's very good. He can solve even knapsack problem. Sorry, knapsack, not knapsack. Like dining programming problems, very tough, hard level lead code, also everything. But do you think I would prefer him? Obviously, I Amazon, Google is a different case, right? But I'm talking about the other companies, right? Maybe like my Airtel also. So if you go for Airtel interview, they don't ask very tough DSL question. They go for the development part because that is what they need. They don't need you to solve some dynamic programming question or some graph question, right? It's very rare, like in industry. The major things are these things, right? So if these things are strong, it will be very helpful, right? So that completes our uh, like what all tools are required, right? For backend, right? For backend, mostly you need to have one very important thing which you need to know is middlewares, right? Middlewares like are the ones are connecting all the like API requests from backend API to our database, like to our backend response. So you will study this. If you don't know, you will study if you study Express, right? If you study Express, you will study middlewares, right? I won't be going through this, but yeah, I'm just listing you down the important things. Then security is very important in backend, right? Encryption, decryption, all these things. So many libraries are there in Node.js and all. You need to know about them. Bcrypt is one of them. Bcrypt. So because if you're signing, if a new user comes to your website, he signs up, right? That sign up will send some token, right? With email and password. That email password should be encrypted, right? Otherwise, any person can, if he has, if he hacked, if he can hacked into IP, he can get that email password, right? Which is wrong. Then database management, obviously, for backend database management is also required. Version control is required, right? And one question is asked a lot in database backend interviews is microservice architecture. So I would recommend you guys to go through this also. It's a big topic. So I won't be going through it exactly, but I'm just telling you microservices like monolithic services and microservices. Two things are there. Monolithic means one central database, one central API, and everything is done by one single entities. But microservices are small services created which are communicating with each other to get the data. Okay. So, so these things are important, right? And yeah, and one very good thing for front end, which I forgot to tell you, is you should have some knowledge on how to optimize a web app, and you should put it in resume also. So how to optimize web applications, right? Like I've given example like server side rendering, maybe caching, maybe local storage, maybe lazy loading. Mm, These are some of the methods. Has anyone heard about lazy loading? Suhani, is it a single pipeline will work for many projects? Uh, so a single pipeline will work for one repository. So in Jenkins, right, you connect GitHub also. I forgot to tell you guys, in Jenkins, our first step is connecting the GitHub, connecting Git, because if you're creating an automating pipeline, where the code is coming from, code must be come from somewhere, right? So we connect our GitHub repository and we specify a branch. Whatever branch we specify, that code will be pulled to Jenkins, and after that, Jenkins will do everything: npm run build, all of that, testing, security, deployment, right? So those of you who have done React, right? Uh, they must have worked on heard about lazy loading and server side rendering. So what I would recommend, pick a project, whatever project you have done or are doing, implement server side rendering, caching, and lazy loading into that. Okay. And even one more thing, React suspense also, right? So these things are very are first of all new, right? Relatively new. So if you write these things, these are used a lot in latest codes, and they're hiring. That's why so many people are being hired, because React has added these new features. So they're modifying their old code base from class to function components and adding these features, right? So you should have this on your resume also, in React part, in your project part, maybe. Like for example, I implemented maybe something like in e-commerce app, in which I optimize the rendering of the app by implementing server-side rendering, maybe lazy loading and all, right? Okay. So this is all about the business part, right? Now I'll quickly move to open source development, which I was talking about, right? Um, yeah. So I'm discussing that only. So for open source development, let me tell you. First thing is, what is open source development? So yeah. So basically, open source development is like uh, when you when you contribute your code, your brain, actually you contribute your brain to fix codes or to uh, add features into open source applications. Okay. So you can see many applications today are open source. Like you can see React code also, whole React framework code, which is developed by Facebook. So if you see, so if I type React GitHub, right? So you can see this React GitHub. React has you can see all the code of whatever is being done in React. It is open source. Open source means it is available for all the users to see. Okay. So yeah. So you can see, I can go to the code, I can see the scripts, I can see all the packages. See, I can see the package.json, which file they are, whatever dependencies they are using, and I can see the dependencies also. So now, how you can contribute in open source, right? So how you can contribute, let's say you want to apply for Facebook. Okay, I'll tell you how to crack these things, right? I did it for Airtel, uh, and so even Airtel, not whole Airtel code is open source, but some of the parts is open source. So let's say you want to apply for Facebook or some good companies, right? So obviously DS Algo, if I exclude DS Algo out, okay, one thing is which is important, which can even land you job directly also. Like don't even need to give interviews. So this open source contribution can help you uh, like get through in only one round of interview, because you have proven yourself already. So how we do that? We go to the issues, right? We go to the issues. So these are all the issues created in React. So let's see, like state value not changing UI. So this issue is created. Something like UI. So this issue is not confirmed actually. Let's see some confirmed ones. Yeah, this one. Okay. So cannot build React dev tools for local development. Instruction lead to error. So they have provided website. They provided reproduction steps. Okay, and they provided error. Now what you have to do? You have to solve this error. Fix it in the React code and send it back to them. Right. And once they review it, if the code is correct, get you will add a contribution to the React open source community. And the more contribution you add, right, the more you will be visible. So now let's say I fixed 5 of the issue in 1 or 2 months, right? Okay. Now I go to apply for Facebook, right? I put the application. I can write in the application, with all these links, whatever you solve, you have the links, right? You can take those links, you can put it in your resume, you can put it in your like wherever you're applying, and you will see that you will get a call very fast, because they see these things. Even when I was going for Airtel, right, they saw I have contributed a few bugs or issues. It may be very small contribution also. Let's say you fix the small header also, some issue. But those contributions means that you are a developer and you can fix things even if, by understanding the code, even if it is not yours. Okay. So let's say you fix this, you put it in the resume, and you can now get, maybe you can get a call from Facebook. They see that these things, right? So this was an example. Now we will quickly see how to actually do the whole open source step. So like I don't have any open source issue to fix, right? But I'll show you how to do all those steps. Okay. So let me take a basic example. Okay. Mm, let me take this website. Okay. So this is a very basic website. Sorry, very basic repo. It is provided by GitHub only, and this is used for open source thing only. WDS OSS example. So if you see in this repository, only one README file is there. Okay, but I want to see open source development using this, right? So if you see there is no issue, okay, it's fine. Uh, Now what we need to do? So it's not necessary that you have to fix issues only. You can add features also. In open source, you can do anything. Let's say you find that there is a new uh, new React hook you can create using these two React hooks, right? You can add it in the React open source project and raise a request, and then the React developers will review it and they will say, oh wow, this is a very new thing, and they will consider your recommendation and approve it, and you will get a very big, maybe you can get a big check from Facebook also, right? You must have seen on LinkedIn, and many people are adding that they found this bug in Google and all that. They fixed this bug, they are getting some $5,000 or something, right? So I'm not saying that you will get definitely, but these things will be very useful and will be a great addition. Okay. So now how to do an open source project, how to contribute to open source. So I'll take this repo. So whatever repo you can take, for example, you took React. Okay. Take that repo. So I am taking this repo. First thing is you have to fork it. Okay. So forking means creating a clone of that repo in your local. So you have to get that repo in the local. Okay. So yeah. So maybe I'll clone it. Okay. So now you can see, why is it clutchy sports? Wait, let me log in with my GitHub. Okay, so this is my GitHub. Mm, Okay, so I have 33 repos, right? So I'll go back. Okay, let me close these tabs. Uh, yeah. So let me go back to the, yeah. So now I'll open that repo, WDS OSS. Okay. So this is an example. If even you can use this, right? So now I'll fork this. Yeah. So see, this is already being forked by me. I forked it earlier also. So you can see you will get Vijit 2K7/OSS. So this is now your kind of own repository. Okay, clone repository. Now what is the next step? You get this code in your local, in your Visual Studio. So I'll copy this URL and I will go to the Visual Studio and I'll open the new window and I will clone it. Okay, I can clone it from here like this. Okay. So I'll not be cloning it since I have already cloned it. So you can see it is already cloned. Okay. Now, see, this is a very basic repo. Okay. I'm just telling you how you can do that open source contribution. Okay. Now let's say you think that this sentence has some error. See, this sentence has some error, right? This is just ABC ABC sample with a typo that we can fix. There is something wrong. ABC is wrong, right? Something is wrong. So maybe I can write like this is just the sample, or just a sample, or just the perfect sample, something like this. Okay. I change this sentence. I applied a fix. I save it. Okay. Now what are the next step? now now what is what now you have done the uh, change, right? Now you have to put this change into that original repo. Okay, that original repo. Correct. So now what we have to do? First we have to push this into our own repo. So what is our own repo? This widget 2k7 OSS example. So how to push? Now this is git commands, right? So I can first do git add. See, uh, I can add this change. You can see this change is there, right? This is a change. Then I can do git commit. I will add a message fixed the typo. Okay. And then I will do git push. Okay. Done. So once the git push is done, you go back, you can check your code here. See, this is just wait, let me reload it. Hmm. This is my branch. I created a new branch, new branch. So one more thing you can do, you can create a new branch using git checkout /b and your name of the branch, a new branch or something. You can use this command to create a branch, and on that branch you should do it. You should never push it to master branch, main branch directly. You should always create your own branch. Okay. So created your own branch. In this branch, if I check, this is just the perfect sample with a typo. Okay. Changes here. Now comes the final step. Now, now you have to raise a pull request. What is a pull request? You have to raise a request from your current branch to the main branch, main repo. So that pull request, what pull request means that I want to commit these changes to your branch, and then that pull request is reviewed by many developers of who is maintaining that branch. Okay. So how to raise a pull request? So first thing is yeah, I'll go to the main branch. Okay. You can see um, if I go to the pull request, right? Let me go back to, yeah. So there are many ways in which you can create pull request. So first thing is I'll go back to the original branch. Let me go back to, okay, let me open W. Okay. So if you see, yeah. So if you see, I created a pull request 7 hours ago. Okay. I can create it now also. Wait, let me show you. So if you see, mm, if I go to this branch, wait. So I will create a new pull request. Okay. Okay. So if you can see, widget 2k7, I will choose new branch. Okay. So now from here you can create a pull request. Pull request is from our branch, new branch to our main branch. Okay. From new branch to main branch. Okay. And one file change is there, and this is the change. So I want to change this. Now I will, now pull request is created. I will view this pull request. Okay. Git will tell you if it is able, if there is any issue, any conflict is there, any issue is there. There is no issue in this. So you can comment that, you can comment something that added the fix. Please merge. Please review and merge. I'll comment this, and now I can, yeah. Now I have, now as a developer, right? As a if I am maintaining this website, this repo WDOSOSS. if I'm a maintainer, I will see all this pull request. I will go to this pull request. I will check this code and I can merge it. So currently I don't have write access for this repo because it is a GitHub repo owned by GitHub. So if the whoever has the right repo, he can see your pull request, he can check the code, he can comment on it, he can merge it. Okay. So one more thing, you can you can add your code also in open source development. So for example, yeah. So for example, if I have a website, let's see, yeah, yeah. So this is one of our colleagues' website, right? It is Card UI. So if I go to this website, it is a very basic website in which people are contributing their cards, whatever card they can create. So this open source website is mostly for if you want to get cards, different types of cards for your website, right? So if you're looking for an amazing card user interface, you can this is a one-stop solution for you. Okay. So uh, if you see, many people are uploading their card UIs. So this is created by Arman. Okay, let me zoom it out. Okay. So this is one card UI created by Arman only, right? This Java. See this interface you can see. Then again, this is created by some guy Preetham, right? With this animation, follow message, and all, right? Looks good, right? So and similarly this. So you can this is not done by one developer. This is done by many developers who are contributing to this card UI. Then six, seven, around 20 developers are contributing to this. So this is called open source development, right? When you put your code outside and you expect people to get out of it, like get things out of it, right? See LinkedIn, like this is also very good, right? This is so nice, so clean, so nice. I can use this. If let's say I'm building my own website, I will just go to this website, pick the code, ask for the access of code, and I can access this code and use it in my website, right? So even we can add it. Same process you have to follow. So you will fork this website. You will fork this website. Okay. So I'll give this website to you guys if you want to try it out. Okay. You can fork this website. Uh, and create your own new branch. Okay. After creating the branch, you can follow the steps, like you can follow the steps which is provided in the readme, and or you can copy from other people UI and modify it. So copy from other people UI, add some of your own feature, make it better, and add it. So in this way you can contribute open source, right? So this was just a overview of how like open source development works. Obviously you can do it in any big companies are mostly open source. If you see Postman, right? Postman is a API platforming tool, right? So if you see Postman GitHub is also there. You can, I think, get see, all the repos are there for Postman. If I pick any repo, I can see issues. If you try to solve this issue, you're contributing to open source. One more way, one last way also you can contribute to open source is via npm. Npm, if you go on npm, right, you can you can create packages on your of your own on npm. Let's say I want to create a hello world or some packages, you can create on your own. So we don't have that much time to create a package on npm, but I'll give you one blog. So create an open source package on npm. I think blog was from, yeah, free code campus. So this free code camps blogs are really nice. So if you see how to create and publish an npm package, so you can create and publish an npm package, and many I've seen when I was interviewing in Airtel, right? I've seen many students. Some of the students, very impressive. They got selected also. They had created a package on NPM also. A new feature they have created, which is very impressive, right? So you guys can follow this, and yes, you can create open source packages on NPM also. Sir, can you explain why do we need to create new branch instead of main branch? Yeah, on main branch you can never do it because that main branch is used by many people. If you change a code inside main branch, all the code will be impacted in for everyone, right? And that main branch is the only branch used to deploy, used for everything. So that in that main branch, everything should be correct. If you are creating in in your own branch, right? Even if you made some mistake, that can be corrected, right? In main branch, if you did some mistake and if it goes to deployment or someplace, ev- everything will go wrong. So when you create in your own branch, let's say new branch, right? Or maybe your own branch, whatever branch name is, you raise a pull request. That pull request is reviewed by those people. Those that pull request is reviewed by 2 3 senior developers. If they find everything correct, then only it is merged to the main branch. So the process is create your own branch, commit your code, push your code, create a pull request to the main branch. Pull request is reviewed. Once pull request is reviewed, it is that your code from your own branch is merged to the main branch, and now main branch also has your code. Then after all these steps, main if main branch has your code, it's fine. But these steps are followed. Okay. So I think yeah, I think that is too much for today, right? And yeah, do if you want, you can reach me out on LinkedIn. Yes. So
Sure, sir.
I hope you guys liked the session and you got some knowledge from it, right?
So
Uh, eh, yes.
yes,
So I
yes,
think you can continue, right?
yes, sir. If you have anything else to contribute,
Yeah. No, I have like maybe in the in some future webinar, I'll if we have, we will I'll explain you guys, or maybe the link which I provided, right? You can use the same link to find the open source some open source features or packages which you can solve. I didn't have time to discuss that today, but yeah, you can. I can share you those things also. What you can
sure,
solve initially as an open source developer, right?
sure, sir.
So yeah, I'll pass on to you. Okay. So I think that's
Sure,
it
sir.
for today, right?
So I think it was a wonderful session. Being a merge stack developer myself, so I actually learn a
Uh,
lot from you. So
thanks, thanks.
I will also apply these things and these tools which I told you today only. I
Yeah,
get to know about this today. Things.
yeah, yeah.
It was
So
very interesting. Yes, sir.
yeah,
Yes, sir.
because I when I landed in a company, there was no one to tell me all these things initially, and I didn't don't want you guys to face that. So obviously, it's
Sure,
better
sir.
if you know it early. Okay.
Yes, it was great. Yes, sir.
Thank you guys. Thank you everyone.
Thank you very
So
much, sir,
Thank you,
for
sir.
your time.
yeah, yeah,
Thank you,
welcome.
sir.
Thank you very much, sir.
Really great.
Thank you very
Thank
much,
you.
sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank
So I'll drop off. Okay. I have to
Yes, sure.
attend a call. Okay. You can
Sure, sir.
take over.
Yes,
Okay.
Sure, sir.
thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, guys. You can leave as well. Thank you for your time.